Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of your Daily Guides, the series where I dive into in-depth guides and walkthroughs of games like Honkai Star Rail, Zenless, and Withering Waves. Today, we'll cover Nefer's full kit, the best artifacts and stats, her top weapons, which constellations are worth your investment, her best teams, and finally, my personal opinion at the end of the video. All the timestamps are down in the description if you want to skip ahead to your favorite part, and if you haven't already, make sure to join the Discord and help support the channel by using my loot bar link to make your purchases. With that said, let's get into it. Nefer is a Dendro Catalyst character whose kit revolves around the Lunar Bloom reaction mechanic. What that means, she's an on-field main DPS whose damage is driven by elemental mastery, crit stats, and specializing her reactions. Her entire kit really revolves around her elemental skill. When you use it while you have at least one Verdant Dew, she enters a special Shadow Dance state. In this state, her charge attacks are replaced with Phantasm Performances, which are powerful, enhanced charged attacks that don't consume any stamina. Each one of these special charged attacks consumes one Verdant Dew and is made up of a few small Dendro hits from Nefer herself, and then 3 massive Lunar Bloom hits from her clones. Since her skill has 2 charges, and each charge lets you use up to 3 of these attacks, you can get a total of 6 enhanced charged attacks per rotation, which is where almost all of her damage comes from. It is almost 90% of her total output. And since that Lunar Bloom damage scales purely off of elemental mastery, that's the stat you want to build above all else. Attack percent is almost useless on her. Next up is her Elemental Burst, which is a big AoE Dendro nuke that scales off both her attack and elemental mastery. It also consumes all of her Veil of Falsehood stacks to give itself a huge damage bonus. Her second passive is also pretty interesting. Basically, the more elemental mastery she has over 500, the more Verdant Dews her teammates will generate when they trigger Lunar Blooms. For her Bizzled, the priority for talents is simple. Crown her skill, then level her burst, and you can honestly just leave her basics alone. Now, when it comes to artifacts, Nefer has one clear winner, the Night of the Skies Unveiling set. This new 4-piece was practically designed around her. The 2-piece gives a flat elemental mastery boost, while the 4-piece multiplies Lunar Bloom reaction damage based on elemental mastery. Each stack Nefer gains through her skill or burst increases reaction damage, allowing her to reach absurd multipliers during extended combat. If you haven't farmed that set yet, you can use a mix of Gilded Dreams and Wanderer's Troop as transitional options. Both give great elemental mastery scaling and are easy to farm. For main stats, go Elemental Mastery on Sands because it directly multiplies Lunar Bloom reaction damage. On the Goblet, Elemental Mastery is actually stronger than Dendro damage bonus in her case, since her damage ratio skews toward reactions rather than raw ability multipliers. And for the Circlet, pick crit rate or crit damage depending on your substats and how they look. Aim for a 70 to 190 or 200 crit ratio or better. Substats should prioritize elemental mastery, crit rate, crit damage, and a touch of energy recharge if you find her burst downtime too long. Nefer doesn't need a ton of energy recharge because her kit naturally refunds energy through her reaction triggers, but having just enough ensures smooth rotations. When it comes to teams, there are 2 main requirements. First, you absolutely want a second Nod-Krai Moonsign character to enable her passives. Lauma is the undisputed best choice here, providing a nearly 50% damage increase, which is just insane. If you don't have her, Aino is the next best thing. After that, your next priority is a good Dendro character, and the rankings are pretty clear. Lauma is best, followed by C2 Nahida, then Baiju. Other options like Yao Yao for healing or Kale for a small elemental mastery buff are also viable. That last slot is your flex spot, where you can bring in an elemental mastery buffer like Sucrose or C2 Kazuha, a shielder, or another Dendro for resonance. A great baseline team to start with is Nefer, Lauma, Aino, and Nahida. It's incredibly strong and feels amazing to play. Let's be fully realistic here. If you don't have Lauma, you probably shouldn't pull for Nefer. Her entire kit is built around the new Lunar Bloom reaction, and while it's flashy and unique, a massive portion of her total damage, roughly 50% or more, comes directly from Lauma's synergy. Lauma doesn't just enable faster reaction triggers, she amplifies Nefer's elemental mastery scaling and boosts Lunar Bloom multipliers in a way that no other character currently replicates. Without Lauma, Nefer's rotation feels slower, slower, her veil generation becomes inconsistent, and the reaction chains that normally cause her huge burst windows just don't hit as hard. In practice, this means that while Nefer can technically function with Nahida, Baiju, or Dendro Traveler as substitutes, her damage output falls dramatically. You'll see her drop from a top-tier DPS into more of a mid-tier, cool but not meta character. So if you're free to play or light spending and don't have Lauma, pulling Nefer isn't a good investment right now. You'd have to overcompensate with perfect artifacts, her signature weapon, and heavy team optimization just to make her feel decent. And even then, she won't match what she can do in her intended comp. So, unless you absolutely love her design, personality, or playstyle, and don't mind accepting reduced efficiency, it's smarter to skip Nefer's banner and save your Primogems until Lauma reruns. Because Nefer without Lauma isn't just weaker, she's missing the partner that literally makes her kit click. But what do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown and found it helpful, make sure to subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!